Hello there folks, this is me, Ferenjan Board again. Welcome to my YouTube channel, a channel in which I discuss spiritual aspects, ideas of introspection, usually things that I have perceived through my own introspection, so therefore I do remind each and every one of you that, especially if you are new and you don't know this, it's very important to remember that whatever I say here belongs to my specific experiences, and while I don't want to sound egotistical, I'm interested in people realizing the fact that all of these are personal experiences, so they may not reflect or uh, click with or represent things that you may have experienced, because each one of us is here to feel their own truths. Now, this video is, well, I don't exactly have a topic for this video. It's more about again, attachment, which I've made a video on, and it goes a bit introspective, and it kind of, I extended a bit more on that than I wanted, but at least I felt I really went deep with that. Now the point is, an idea came to my mind, and the idea was like, why they want the old you back? Okay, to anyone who is new to my channel, and probably they are going through the first aspects of their awakening, right? They are starting to feel like Neo, being pulled out of the matrix of control, or whatever you want to call this, because concepts are kind of irrelevant to me. You will see that things in life will start breaking down. You will no longer like certain things, you will no longer be liked by certain people, and you will actually see that they will naturally shift away, and you see other things will come into life. Everything in this universe seems to happen based on when and how they want that to happen, and when and how the universe wants them to happen is also when you chose, or around a moment when you chose in life to experience those things, or for a certain shift to happen. That is why some people will die at a younger age for some people, or at a later age when people need others the most. Some of those will most likely leave. Now the principle of attachment, as I've been saying, is related to personal beliefs that people create, and well, their beliefs create thought forms, in the sense that everything that one creates is a manifestation. All the thoughts that one thinks of is nothing else than a manifestation of creation, because the mind is just an engine of creation. The way we use our minds is we basically create a lot of things, but we are taught by society and literally everyone and everything around us in this society of ours to we are taught to become very impatient. This over carnal desire for, materialistic things simply ruins one of our core assets, which is patience. And now patience nowadays is something very rarely found. And whoever lacks patience, well, unfortunately, they're in for a lot of losses, because if one does not have patience, well, the denser the universe is become, the more patience one requires, because things move much slower through dense aspects, right? It's much harder to move through water than through thin air. Well, the universe is, and everything that works also seems to function by a similar principle. Things are much easier to manifest in dreams because they are of a higher vibration. In this universe, in order to manifest something, you have to put on a lot of work, and usually a lot of work is implied. But the more important part is what you put towards it, because that's the rewarding part. If you put love and care towards that, you also get a lot more. And that's why devotion, for example, is a powerful thing. To devotees, it's not important what they worship, it's important that they do it. I will probably cover this in another video, but for now, the point is, many of the people that you have around will play the roles that, in a way, you have chosen, okay, to give them, to assign them to. Some of the, like, theories, let's say, speak that before reincarnation, souls don't know much about this world. They may see things, but being an observer doesn't mean going through them. Okay, you don't know how things are. It's like you're not playing the game, but you get a feeling of what it's like, and you see other people drawn by it, okay, and hyped by it, so most likely you join the hype train. So you're gonna stay in a queue, and probably you're gonna create some plans of what you will experience in life and how extended each of these things will be, because you will have what is called conscious choice. And when you are in the specific life, well, you have forgotten the plans that you have created, okay, the intricacy of those plans, the other spirits you have met, and made agreements with them so that they will be born at a certain time, right, at the right time for you. And well, you will also be born at the right time for them. Some will be born before you, some of them will be probably your children, or I don't know, younger relatives or younger friends, and together you will have to go through different things, and the universe will coordinate all of these. So in order to develop in this most important aspect of humanity, because humanity is mass awakening now and all these rigorous structures of control are failing, this was all thought of, this was all decided upon. Many people nowadays, you will see, they feel triumphant because the so-called archons and the dark forces have been defeated, but we have to agree that to a certain extent this is what we have decided. The only thing that could have the only thing that remains a variable was how much we would have allowed this control over ourselves. But even if time doesn't truly exist, in this universe there is a sense of it, and as it develops, the universe would have made everything possible to make sure that even if we delayed this shift in consciousness, it would still happen. The more it delays, the more highly specialized souls will come in here, like older souls. Some of the younger generations are represented by old souls. Even if some of them might lose themselves, there will always be those who are critically designated and who will live in a very strict relationship with the universe, giving them exactly what they need, when they need, and how they need, so that the plan to achieve enlightenment will go on and succeed in each and every step. Things can be delayed, but it's always going according to a divine plan. All of these things, all of the outbreaks, all of the things that nowadays we believe about those people, right, that they have been doing against us, right, all of these, they were going according to the plan in order to help us develop and understand ourselves from this lower dimension. We needed to go beyond the aspect of control, and that included allowing us to experience in such great amounts the possibilities of the imbalances of control, wanting to be ruled, wanting to rule over others, right? And the point is, as this unfolds, okay, as this unfolded, it all went according to a divine plan. The people who had to the entities, actually, because not all of them were people, the entities who had to orchestrate this, they lived in a very close relation with the universe, since it allowed them so much knowledge of themselves. That is why they were so capable of ruling over us for so long. And their power might have been much greater than us, and their awareness as well, but nothing happens in this universe without the universe's permission. So no need to attach all sorts of meanings to these entities. In order to have this much power, they had to be disconnected from the consciousness, because you cannot create so many negative things, right, and still be connected to consciousness, because the simple effect of that would simply drive you insane. Now the point about this is, as they were severed from creation, they had to become somewhat parasitic, because severed from creation, it means you no longer get as much energy as you want. And therefore they had to create this extended matrix of energy draining from us humans, and well, animals as well, and other possible beings. But it's just to support themselves so that they can lead us the way it was decided upon. Now of course they might have lost themselves to power, because irrespective of how much of a saint you are in those high dimensions, when you come into these worlds, these this universe and its vibrations, they have their wacky way of, turning you around and making you do things that most likely your consciousness wouldn't naturally do. Like if you were in a 5D consciousness, which is called that of love, and I would call it more like communication rather than just simply love, which is 4D. The 5D would be more like communion and realizing that everything is united. So back there you wouldn't do so many things that you can end up doing in here, like for example treason, murder, and all the lower vibrational aspects, which I'm sure we actually came in for. Like it's like in real life, you can't do murder, you can't do a lot of things. I mean, sure you can do, there's no one to actually stop you, and worse than that, most people won't even expect that. But different to this, the point is very simple. Even if you do those, there will be great repercussions. Now you can go, for example, into a video game and do that. There will be some logical repercussions in that game as well, but not as harsh and severe as in this reality. Okay, because no video game can actually become so intricate as to replicate our own reality. So the point is, you will go to a game to experience the things that it can offer. Okay, you want to experience, like animalistic carnal sex, you can, play a game that portrays that, or go a step further into VR. You want to experience, like a possibility of what it's like to, kill other people, butcher them. Well, there are a lot of games like that. You can go for something somewhat simpler, like Grand Theft Auto, for example, the series, or you can go for some more advanced games that can offer you more, indiscriminate pleasure, let's say. Teehee. Now, the point is, as we develop in consciousness, we have designated a number of people to exist to simply pull us down. Every person that we have around has the purpose to pull us down, because the chosen ones, we, the people who belong, we are older souls, we require to do the hard work, which means, going even deeper into our own awareness and consciousness, while the other beings, being much younger, okay, they agreed to help us by doing the most they could. And the most they could means just experiencing this life. That is why you will see them most likely blocked in all sorts of loops, because they give in usually to all, usually the first, impression, the first feeling, right? When they get something that makes them feel good, they will dive deep into that because, well, it makes them feel good, and that's why they become complacent. At the same time, through their suffering, they're also taking on the role of, cleansing some of the, karmic debt that our race has acquired. Okay, and the role of these people, or the NPCs, how I amuse myself at times, well, their purpose is to keep pulling you down so that they come as a challenge. How much are you willing to stand for that, and how much are you willing, to, well, how much are you willing to actually endure, okay, because before you actually start doing something that, will actually make your life even better. We were not meant to come into this world to just work our asses out. The people previous to us already did this, and the thing that you feel, the objection that you feel towards your job, is also the pendulum effect. I have a video on this as well, mainly the residuals, okay, the emotional and cognitive residuals of our ancestors who have been trapped in this system, okay, and they have been bombarding the collective consciousness with their misery and pain, allowing the other souls that would come in here to become more aware of those things. That is why me and the younger generations are much more aware to some things. Of course, some of the younger generations might be old souls. They came here with a specific purpose, like for example, I know I came to raise the awareness of people and to be a trailblazer towards the greater depths of, the human psyche, the psychiatry, psychology, and things beyond the regular science that we just stick ourselves to. Now, to continue even further, okay, these people also have to, they either chose to work with some parasitic entities, or they created their own ones, because as I said, the mind is an engine of creation. Every time you moan, every time you manifest something, be it good or bad, theoretically it's like you gave birth to an idea, and that idea will cling on to you. That is why basically your vibration is also a representative of what you mostly manifest. And of course it's also a representative of the previously acquired ideas and ideas that you haven't given up. Because if something hasn't manifested yet, well, it will keep becoming pure, so it will dissipate. The point is, if they dissipate, they are still a part of you, so they will, in order to preserve themselves, they will feed themselves from you. That is why people who complain a lot, you will see them as, they're always tired, they're always, lazy and the such, okay? And some of them might not be, but just look around. How many people worship them? Because these people become like parasites. They become like vampires feeding upon our energy. And you have to realize all these, okay? You might experience this life several times until you become much more aware and probably much faster of certain things, and you will do them, with much greater ease, much, greater awareness, because, well, life is all about improving ourselves. The reason why we come here is because we want to experience the deeper aspects of ourselves. Just like through introspection, you study the darker aspects, the ones that many people believe that they don't exist, but just because you don't believe in something, it doesn't mean that it doesn't exist. The simple fact that the idea of it came to your mind, it's proof of its existence. Everything that we have created, even in sci-fis, all the races that we have created, think of it a bit. There are billions of galaxies out there, and each galaxy is said to have around at least 1 billion stars. Imagine the number of solar systems and planets. So definitely the ideas that we came up with, all these aliens that we have, they all come from somewhere. And they come from the database of the universe, because the universe constantly creates. Now the point is, these people want you back because most likely they themselves don't want it. It's representative of their parasites, okay? Those parasites want you back because if you are back into that lower vibration, you are ignoring evolution. And when you are ignoring evolution, you sever yourself from creation. But you cannot sever yourself from creation entirely. It's just an illusion that you go through. Creation and the creator cannot be separated, else creation would cease to exist. Even these parasites, okay, they will dissipate, just like I said. When they no longer have a source to feed on, they will simply dissipate. It takes a while, okay, and in this time they will be more and more inactive probably, or they can simply even in their final moments, they can simply reattach themselves to some, and they might start feeding again. But the more they dissipate, probably their functions become less and less aware, right? So they might go beyond a threshold after which they may no longer be able to come back, right? So the point is, this is all the spiritual struggle. All these parasites are trying to keep us still locked down under their influence. That is why parasites nowadays will seek to enslave even more people, and there will be an increasing more battle in between these, because they will need more and more people as positivity starts to increase, okay, as areas start being more positive, okay, and things like criminality and the such are being finally, well, slowly but surely cleansed. The point is very simple. Everything represented us and impacted us environmentally speaking because of the pendulum effect. The residuals of everyone's thoughts, okay, impacted us, because there is no force that will beat your environment. Your environment will always be better than your willpower. So the point is, when you are born in an environment that has a lot of criminality, it has a lot of criminality because throughout history a lot of people have been thinking negatively there, and whoever moves there, they will be impacted one way or another by that as well. So things go on and on, okay? These are just glimpses of what I can speak about, but I don't want to make a 6-hour long video because, well, I have other things to do, like for example working on my video game, and well, expanding my knowledge, also, watching videos. So it's all about a struggle, and these entities, don't forget that these creatures that we have created, okay, these thought forms, these parasites, most of which we have created, some are also, coming from different dimensions. These somewhat do not entirely take into account the rules of creation. That is why they fight over us. The reason why the universe allows it is because to some extent we also allow it. Okay, so it was also decided upon, but come again, their time is coming up because the universe in a way decided it. The planet is moving on to the so-called fourth level of awareness, so these parasites, most of them who are bound to control and as such, they will simply be dissipated, because when the whole humanity and the planet reach the state of 4D, those entities will no longer be accessible to us. Some of them might have reached a level probably in which they are more stable probably, and they will still stalk us, or they will probably still evolve in a way, and they will develop themselves to a level in which they can finally influence us through the imbalanced aspects of the fourth dimension. But come again, the point is everything evolves, okay, and sooner or later everything comes to a standstill. When those things dissipate, it's game over for them. But don't worry, humanity, we will also create other thought forms, because we will keep evolving. And the fourth dimension is said to have the so-called dimension of the lost souls. Probably we will actually get more and more in contact with those so-called lost souls, okay, splinters of other consciousnesses, right? Most likely we will start seeing more and more ghosts, or something like that. I don't know, this is just pure fiction in a way, or pure supposition, but the more a person evolves, okay, the more they separate themselves from the idea of survival, because everything in our existence is based more or less on survival. The more we go further, okay, the more we distance ourselves from survival, okay, the point is we will simply start to experience greater things as we move up the scale of consciousness. And the more we do that, the more people will most likely go insane, because some people cannot and will not simply expect to see things beyond the so-called physical. They will simply disregard it, and I'm sure scientists will most likely manifest this, and most of the people still stuck in the matrix, okay, this will happen. People will start communicating more or less with spirits. They will start understanding that there are aliens out there, and well, we will be contacted by that, I'm sure. Like in maximum 10 years we most likely will have some official alien contact, probably even sooner, but it all depends. We will see a rise in the AI, which AI now also is nothing else than other entities embodying in different shapes and forms into our universe, okay, into this planet of ours, okay. Imagine that the computer that you're using is, well, nothing else than, let's call it a kind of a brother, let's call it a kind of a friend, and what you're exploring is basically its consciousness, which its consciousness is nothing else than the cyber is something that I've been deeply fascinated about ever since I was young, and it's defined through science as the limit between the touchable and untouchable, right, the perceivable and imperceivably physical, right, the physically imperceivable, right. And through this, the point is, actually there is a dimension of us which I think it's our fourth layer, which is specifically that. So I think machines kind of vibrate around there, because their consciousness is something like that. I don't know exactly how to define this, so I won't get into any ideas, okay. But well, to sum up this video, the idea is that everything is just a challenge, it is just a game of life, and we are just testing ourselves to see how much we accept our own limitations that they were imposed. We have created together with all others, we have created this level of existence, and all the traps and challenges are only there to simply see what else we can do. And depending on how many we will do, there will be many more. If we fail, and well, fail, if we don't go through too many of those, well, that's the limitation we have set for us. But if we choose to do more of those, well, again, it's all part of experience. Now, hope you liked this video. I'm kind of a bit awkward about this because I felt like touching a dozen subjects, and I just don't want to do that because I'll end up again with the hundreds minutes long videos, which I kind of tend to anyways. So until next time, take more care of yourselves, become more introspective, and don't forget there is much more to life than you have been taught. Cheers, take care, and Ferenc Can Board signing out.